I want to thank everyone for following along. The big move to the new wood yard is very exciting, and I can't wait for it to happen. I just can't get all my stuff moved over there though, because I got a bunch of stuff that has to get done here. And speaking with the property owner, he is fully aware of what I'm up against, because I can't take the processor over to the new wood yard until all of these logs are processed. At the same time, my lease doesn't begin until May, but now I have all of these other logs and I just can't bring them here. So he is permitting me to leave them there, you know, and that is just huge. And that was really, if there's so much of the things that I was scared of this move, that really just took a lot of pressure off of me. So let me turn my camera around here. I'm just going to point some stuff out to you guys. This is all oak. If you recall, I've picked up a couple restaurants that just want oak. And you know how I feel about oak. I don't like it. And I get a lot of questions. A lot of people are upset to hear me badmouth oak. I think oak's a great firewood, but I'm in business to sell firewood. I am not the customer. And oak I find to be very problematic, because if you're selling seasoned firewood, it takes 2 years to dry. And at least around here, everyone splits their oak real small because it helps it dry out better. And I just don't like to mess with it. You know, when all of this wood, if this was for residential, this stuff would be sitting here for 2 years. And I get tired of looking at it after a while. So the one restaurant called and they said, can you sell us oak firewood? And I was like, you know, I'm probably not the right service for you. The one guy says, well, you know, moisture content for us isn't that big of a deal. And I said, go on. And he says, we prefer our oak to be split bigger because of the type of smoker we have. It is electricity, heat, and the wood goes into like a trap door, so it's not providing the heat for the cooking of the wood. And I said, go on. So it turns out that at least in this capacity, I love oak. And of all of the logs that I had, if these were residential, all of these would have been split smaller, guys, like this. These bigger pieces, these would have been cut probably in 3 separate pieces just to get the size down on those logs. But I have a bunch of logs that are back here, and a lot of them that had come in back in the summer were oak. And I still have this one disappointment. When the truck showed up, I was like, wow, those look like to be the nicest logs I've ever seen. They're gonna be perfect for my processor. And then as it came up the driveway, they were all oak. Ugh. So I'm knocking all those out. This is a trailer of maple, cherry. There's some oak, there's some hickory in there, and that's to be stacked, but that's when all the snow came in, so it's gonna sit here until this can all go away. This is all oak, and this is the next stuff in line to go to those restaurants. So let's head on up the timber road. This is just some straggler. This was a lot of elm and gum. I just statted off to the side. This is all another first in, first out. This is all what I call whitewood, maple, ash, beech. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, starting my 8th cord. This is all green being stacked. This is leftovers. This can be loaded up for a restaurant too. So all of the maple, all of the ash, beech, everything is going to get stacked here, and this should all be full by the time we're done with this big project back here. So I'm walking onto the timber road. This was the road that we built to get through the moat area, which is real wet right here. This and this and this is all cherry. This is my leftover seasoned firewood. It's already sold, I just haven't delivered it yet. As is that. Just doesn't look as nice when it's covered in snow right now. This is all cherry. This is all hickory. And now we're heading on back. Guys, these are big rounds outside with Shibe had cut these up. These have to be split with the axis. But right now the axis is not on my list of things to do because I got to get all of these other logs processed. This is also more big logs. These are the ones that were too big to go through my processor. So I forked them over here. These will have to be chainsawed into 16-inch rounds and then split up with the axis. But this is like there's an ash log. I got oak. There's maple. There's a big gum log in here, and there's a big hickory log in here also. This is one of the 3 loads still that I have to get done. This and those 2, and then some stragglers up here. This all has to be processed before the end of April when we get the machines moved out of here. This is mostly oak. There's some ash in here. Like this big log right here is an ash. And there's some maple in there, but it's mostly oak. I'll be processing these big so that these can be sent to that restaurant. Their volume is way up, so I'm pretty sure I can get all this sold here faster than it would if it was residential. This will be the last load that I'm going to process because there are some bigger logs in here, guys, and I have a feeling a lot of these aren't going to fit through the machine, like this one and this one, and they got some crook in them, so they're going to take a lot of trimming. For instance, this log here, it's got a branch and then there's another one right there, and that's not going to fit through the machine. These are going to have to get chainsawed, but not all of them. I think, for instance, I would get creative. This log here, I would just cut it right here, and this would go through the 405 no problem. This end, we might have to buck that and split it with the axis. But this is that same pile from the front. So these are on a skidway. So the timbers these are laying on top of 2 rows of timbers. So I can drive my tractor out and then take them on up to the live deck. This will be the last load that I will process with the 405. This one is next. This is mostly maple and cherry, and these will these are going to go great through the 405 because they're a little bit bigger. There are some smaller ones here, but they're right in that sweet spot of around 10 to 14 inch. This is what I'm working on right now, and there's just a few left. So I'm on a skidway, and when we had 2 truckloads that were on top of this skidway, so these had spilled off onto the ground. So I will just come back out with my next time I'm loading up the table. These are mostly maple. I'll just be putting them onto the live deck and processing. And while I was working this row, I stumbled upon a couple oak, and I just didn't want to run them. I keep it all together, it helps me stack, so I just set them here. This was a skidway. This, if you recall, guys, this was all logs here and here and there, and then there was one there and one there. So that's how much I've gotten done in a month. Well, a little bit more in a month. 6 weeks has taken me that much. Which you think, well, why aren't you doing more? But I'm still doing I'm still running a business. I still got deliveries to do. That wind is killing me. I'm going to put it over here out of the wind. I'm still doing deliveries. I still got the business to run, and now I'm adding this new level of complexity with the new wood yard. So this is my objective. That's just a few stragglers that will go right on the table, as are these. So the big work for me is this is next, and then those, and then those. 3 loads of logs. I have to get all of these done before the end of April. And then all of this extra work has created a lot of extra mess. And I've kind of got myself landlocked the way I have this machine set up. And I just got up to my earlobes in mess, the scraps and all. And when it's dry, I bring my tractor over to this side with my forks, and I just fork these totes, and I take them down to my big pile of mess and dump them. So this was tough because now this is all mud in here. I can't get my tractor in here because it'll sit here until August, until it dries out. So I had to muscle these over, and I had to fork this out and then slide this over, fork that out and slide this over, and that was not easy. That's why I have my outfeed all the way up in the air, so that I was able to get my tractor in under here. And then obviously the big mess is underneath the cleaner. And guys, this is just one of these things that's just going to be reality for right now. This is just stuff I got to get it out of here because, you know, when you're under the gun, some things take priority. And this isn't it. So I just get my bucket and I just keep pushing this out of the way, pushing this out of the way. And that's just going to be the way it is. The objective for me is to get all of these logs done. And this thing here was getting up so high that the scraps couldn't even clear off of the tray. So here is the 405. It has just been running awesome, non-stop, just chewing up firewood and spitting it out. These are some big rounds. I've accumulated them all and set them here because they're going to be hand fed into the splitter just to get these out of here. But here is the 405. I've started tarping it off, the control panel. I guess there's no reason for that to set out in the weather when I can just easily cover it with a tarp. And this was the last log on the live deck, and it was oak. Then I just didn't run it because I just figured that would slow me down stacking, so I left it on the table. And lastly, when I've been working these piles, I've stumbled upon some hickory. So I've set the hickory off to the side. I will just make one run of all hickory. Helps me out with stacking. And then, of course, these real big ones. I just push these off to the side. I'm going to need someone with a 500i to come buck these up for me. Or maybe Log Hauler Jesse can pull them down to the new wood yard and we can cut them up down there. A lot of you have asked about what am I going to do with all the wood that I make? Am I going to take it to the new yard? And I think the answer is no. I'm just going to leave it here. I think it just makes it easier on me right now. And I can just get it stacked here, and then I can sell it in the fall. And then once that is all sold, then everything else that's being made at the new yard is going to stay there. And then we're 100% there. And that leads me to the big announcement, guys. I had talked about having an open house when we moved to the new yard. And now it is confirmed. We are having a huge open house at Ohio Woodburner. It is going to be on Saturday, April the 29th, all day from like 10 a.m. to whenever, 3 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I've already spoken to a number of dignitaries that plan on coming. If you are in the area, please stop out and visit us at the open house. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. People have talked about flying here, where to stay in hotels. And what I would tell you guys is, you know, the wood yard is in Cortland, Ohio. And the biggest area with all of the retail and hotels is in a town called Niles, Ohio, just a few miles down the road. And it's by the Eastwood Mall. If you're looking for a night, all of those hotels in that general area are all nice. It's just a very nice area. Every restaurant you could possibly imagine is in that area as well. So if you are available, if you just happen to be on this side of the Mississippi and you're not doing anything on Saturday, April the 29th, come on out. I'll get you the address. I'll get you some hotel information. But, you know, if you want to come, bring your gloves, man. I might actually put you to work. There's always something to do around the woodyard. So for now, Cortland, Ohio, April the 29th. Holy cow, I can't believe that this is happening. How far this company has come in such a short amount of time. And as I stand in front of a world-class firewood processor. Go on down and you can see the world-class Japa 405, the roller cleaner, the live deck, the Eastonmade axis, all of the other tools that we use around the wood yard, and they'll be right there for you to check out. I think it'd be a great time. So stay tuned for more updated information, but for right now, April the 29th, Saturday, all day, and it's going to be sunshiny because it never rains in the springtime in Ohio. It's always dry. So come on out, and we're going to have a celebration, and it's going to be cool. All right, guys. I hope everyone has a great day.